and looked it up, but I think it was upon Smithland Church.
The number 6 Audi has been in the pits, looking. They didn't have the rear bonnet up, but they were looking through the gap, in through the exhaust outlets in the back of the car, and that car is now back underway, and that sat there for quite a while. Paul.
Yes, 6.
And it's dropped down quite a lot.
Yeah, it's 13th now.
Yeah.
6 was in the pits, provided this is working, which I think we are working now. We're not working on that one yet.
Okay, don't worry. Andy
getting
T has just tweeted in at Radio Le Mans and sent me a picture that is very, very arty, and sort of a little bit of blue in the sky. There's some tail lights there. However, it shows me how foggy it is. Very arty, very lovely, Andy, and you're right, brave pills for everybody down there at the moment. Didn't see whether young Winkelhock stayed in the 6 car when it was in the pit lane, but it is out in the Grand Prix circuit at the moment. Just having been at the far end of the circuit, has to go down a gear through the S's, the Schumacher S's, with a Porsche ahead of it. Sorry, Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think just reflect on that number 6. Now, admittedly, I'm still struggling with the technology here, but I think that was a 7-minute pit stop for the number 6 car.
Yeah,
so
I think you're right.
A little bit longer than it should have been, and a lot longer than it need have been, because that car, as I say, is subject to a minimum pit stop time, which would have been a lot less than 7 minutes. So they obviously had problems with it. And we'll have a look at the lap time at the end, but if it's somewhere in the region of 17 minutes, then we'll know that it was a 7-minute stop.
Change for second place as the number 9, the AMG Black Falcon Mercedes-Benz, has replaced the Baumann, Mucker, Buch and Jaeger, number 30. Now, was that on the pit stop cycle, or was that on the track? That was on the track.
That's on the track, and that's one Mercedes passing another Mercedes, isn't it?
One Mercedes 2, Mercedes 3, Mercedes 4.
But it's interesting because the Mercedes seem to be slow at the beginning of their stints and get faster as the stint goes on, is the way that Martin was reading it earlier on. And I kind of see that as well with the Black Falcon Mercedes. I was saying earlier on, I was surprised that the leading Black Falcon Mercedes was way down about 8th place. It's now, as you say, John, moved up to 2nd, so making progress.
Talking to some of the Audi drivers earlier on in the week, and they said if it's going to be wet, we want it to be very wet. We don't want it a bit wet, and we don't want it wet and dry. We want it to be very wet. Our car does not go well in partially wet or quote-unquote intermediate conditions. So, well, they've had a bit of that, but now it's gradually drying up. Next major rain not due for a couple of hours, according to the forecast that we've been getting. If you hear the odd bit of rock music, or what I believe the kids nowadays are calling banging house, that's coming from the campsites at the moment as we go into the
soundtrack of the Nürburgring.
It is the soundtrack.
Thrash rock.
Yeah.
I thought it was just coming out of Johnny Palmer's headphones behind us here. You know how you always hear them on the tube with somebody's headphones in the background.
I do love the ingenuity of the spectators here, whether it's building their own highly complex viewing platforms, which are by no means rickety. I mean, I'm not sure I'd want to stand on one, frankly, but they look very well engineered and thought out. Or whether it's the braziers that have had, and I did say braziers there, that have had all kinds of metalwork cut into them to show through as the fire burns. Our leader then, the 88 Mercedes-Benz, by 40 seconds, just beginning to eke away now from that new second place Mercedes-Benz in second place. So top four
are all Mercedes now.
As I said, one Mercedes 2, Mercedes 3, Mercedes 4.
And then we have Porsche, BMW in 6th and 7th place, and the highest Audi doesn't
has last year's winner behind it in 11th, the number 1 WRT car.
Still a long way to go.
Yes, absolutely. Glickenhaus 701 with one of the M6s behind it getting more and more frustrated. One of the top 30 cars. I'm afraid in the darkness I can't pick out which one that is. It is the 100 car, I think, unless we've got on board with a different car. I'll reserve that. I don't think it was now. That's a different part of the track. The number 100 in 7th position on an outlap at the moment, and just heading up to the Flugplatz. So no, that wasn't the car we were watching before, but in traffic with an Audi R8 ahead of it, picking its way past one of the smaller BMWs. Blue light flashing in the upper right hand corner of the windscreen of the number 100, and now a pretty clear run heading up the hill, and a definite dry line just beginning to appear. Big dam on the brakes going into the left-hander before the right that drops you into the foxhole. The rhythm part of the track here, and he's got that Audi right ahead of him. Need those positioning lights on the back as well as the front, don't we, so that we've got half a chance of seeing what place they were when they crossed the line. Little dab of the brakes from the Audi ahead, and the BMW not getting involved at all there, still very slippery through the foxhole, and then into that complex at the top of the hill, down a gear at each of the turning points, all the way down to 2nd, and then a short shift to 3rd, and it's foggy up there as well. So in the top 20 at the moment, it's all SP9. The first SPX is the 702 Glickenhaus. That's the yellow car. That's the next SPX. The second of SPX cars is in 24th position. That is the 701. And that's just gone past the 23 in overall positions. The 23 Row Racing BMW. Now I wonder if that was a battle for position then that we were having a look at there. That we